Behavior analysis, the scientific study of human behavior, turns out to be a really good lens to understand, well, human behavior, but it's but one lens. So welcome to 6 other areas outside of behavioral science, behavior analysis, that I found really valuable to me as a board certified behavior analyst. The first, economics. I made a video, I'll link it up here, called What Was Missing from Skinner's Box. Skinner talked about economic control in science and human behavior, in fact. One of the cornerstones of the field, he set the pace for what a science behavior could seek out and should seek out to accomplish in this book. If you haven't checked it out, free down below.
How can one prescribe the behaviors that are most effectively going to contend with these conditions? That's where the trouble comes, and that's why you have different political philosophies, different systems of economics, and so on.
Yes.
But that is nothing that I can do anything about. We are all in the same boat on that. We all have difficulties in deciding what is to be done, but if I have any expertise at all, I claim it's in the field of how to do it after one decides.
Yes.
We can see examples of economic control when we look in real life scenarios with international politics. So tariffs increased by the Trump administration and here in the US leads to downstream influence on the behavior of consumers by raising our prices or through attempts of closing certain influences down. The economic control can be seen in many stories here on YouTube.
The US did decide to support Israel, and with that came a major backlash from all of these oil producing countries in the neighborhood.
Is a crisis of such proportion.
There are a bunch of islands that the United States owns at the very edge of this map, deep into the Pacific, like out here. And they all say like a little US next to them. They're teeny tiny islands where no one lives, and they're just in the middle of the Pacific, so far away from the actual United States. Why do we own all these weird islands? What happened? Well, it has to do with farming and bird poop.
So whether you're interested in applying a token economy, helping somebody just learn some skills, or applying large systemic change affecting systems, it seems to be an extremely valuable area. One of my favorite books recently was called Viking Economics. I've linked it down below. It's easy to consume and it's fascinating to think about how you can design a society in a very different way than what we've seen in some modern developed countries such as the United States. Area number 2, social media. This one's a lot, and it could be a little more accurately described maybe as the internet, but the democratization and commodification of data are both the most amazing things that behavior analysts could ever look at and the most terrifying. On one hand, we can upload and expand our reach easier than ever, like this video. Like, it's never been easier to reach someone due to the internet. But the commodification of data and the shifting of the gatekeepers from the massive media corporations, well, to the terms of service and the social media organizations has also shown us just how scary that may be in influencing our behavior.
They are completely clueless.
Fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news. We're being bombarded with rumors.
I've linked a few documentaries to check out down below. Social Dilemma, of course, is one, but there are others that are out there. The next one, marketing. This is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. Marketing for behavior analysis has been very interesting because the primary area of service delivery has extremely long wait lists. Parents that are looking for autism services, specifically going to ABA practitioners, waitlists can be up to years. Our field is struggling to keep up with quality practitioners coming out to be able to help these people. But eventually that's going to level out. And at that point, knowing how to reach people and how to differentiate yourself will be key. If you're looking for different areas to apply behavior analysis, this may be something that you're already learning or interested in. And fun fact, the very founder of behaviorism, John B. Watson himself, actually contributed to bringing marketing and advertising to the field of psychology. I was reading this interesting marketing paper I'll link down below that shares some of the larger history of marketing, realizing the power of psychology. I also feel like I've been learning this through trial and error and various different learning platforms for the last few years. One of my favorites is scouring things from social media marketing agencies. There's usually local ones in your area if you look around, and you can find some leaders. See what they're thinking, what they're sharing, what they're consuming, what they're writing even. I found one actually in my area that's extremely well known across the US, so I consume and follow and see what it is they're writing, what they're deploying with their different campaigns and such. Another great resource is the American Marketing Association for those of you in the US. All right, the next area, UI and UX. So if you're watching this, it's usually in some really seamless way due to the design of the hardware and the software and our interaction with it. User experience or user interface is the area I have the least knowledge in out of all of these, or experience out of all these, but it's extremely related to the field. So first, UI. It consists of the buttons users click on, the text they read, the images, sliders, text entry fields, and all the rest of the items that the user interacts with. This includes screen layout, transitions, interface animations, and every single micro interaction. Any sort of visual element, interaction, or animation must all be designed. Now, UX stands for the user experience. A user's experience of the app is determined by how they interact with it. Is the experience smooth, intuitive, or clunky and confusing? Does navigating the app feel logical, or does it feel arbitrary? So UX designers are also concerned with an application's user interface, and this is why people get confused about the difference between the two. But whereas UI designers are tasked with deciding how user interface will look, UX designers are in charge of determining how the user interface operates. In behavior analysis, we have this concept called stimulus control, which is the degree to which some stimulus affects our behavior and how it does that. Think about an app that works really well, maybe too well. Keeps you scrolling and interacting, and you just go, but you can compare that to one that's more clunky, an experience due to design. The two of these come together in examples like that, but you can find them in the design of everyday things when it comes to chairs, phones, books, how we interact and consume online. Like, all of it to a degree has some UX and UI built in. When I was an undergrad, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I finished with a business administration minor, psychology major, but business administration minor, knowing that no matter what I was going to end up doing, knowing a bit of how the business world runs would be really useful knowledge. There are a lot of different avenues that may be of interest depending on if you want to start your own business or have tools to help manage employees or understand things like how state, federal laws affect your workplace. I'll share a few links down below, but also know this area can be specific to where you reside, and it's best finding some local communities that you can be a part of. And including one of those links is how to find some local people in your area. This last area is super nerdy, but extremely important. All systems of knowledge, sciences, or fields are built upon philosophy. No one's right per se, but they set out the rules for what constitutes evidence, what may be within the boundaries of a field, etc. And until you know the philosophical approach your field subscribes to, or the various ones that people within it may subscribe to, it's hard to navigate and understand how to be effective, how to understand and sort information out, how to help others, how to be successful, etc. I actually have a whole video on this topic you can check out here. Here's more videos you can check out if you're interested. And Patreon, shout out to everyone that supports me. This is why I can create content. So if you like this, you find this useful, please consider supporting. That's your Daily BA.